All right, so we got the factory alarm to work with the tilt sensor and a shock sensor from Direct Electric 507. So we're gonna open the door. Open the door. Close the door. Open the door. Close the door.
Hi, you
And
go lock the door. No.
And then we're gonna arm the car. All right. So in a little bit, the factory alarm will come on, and then we're gonna test the tilt sensor. The tilt sensor is connected to this wire right now. It's sitting on there, and the power cable isn't long enough to put it on the seat, so it's just sitting in the end of this alligator clip. And once I pull this test light up, the tilt sensor will move. So there is the factory alarm. It's still trying to activate, probably like in about a minute. So there it goes, it's flashing. So now let's get the key ready. There's my key. And I'm gonna lift up the tilt sensor. There it goes. It works. All right. So now we open the door, close the door, and lock it again. And now we're gonna try the shock sensor. So while the alarm is coming on, I'm just gonna give you FYI. I connected the tilt sensor without connecting it to the, hold on, Maxie, without connecting it to a relay. And I went through 3 tilt sensors because the ground of the car pulls so much current that the tilt sensor that's providing ground pretty much fried it. And then it's hard to figure out, but pretty much the minute you put it in, these things are always giving out ground now. And that tells you that the tilt sensor has been fried. All right, so the factory alarm is on. Now we're gonna kick the wheels. Got the alarm ready so it doesn't come on. There's your shock sensor. All right, everything works. Since we're making this video and some people want to know how I connected all this, so I should have cleaned up the wires, but here we go. That's the shock sensor. You can find a video on how to connect it, but basically at the end of the day, this is the door switch, and if anything gives the door switch a ground, then the factory alarm will come on. So the door switch runs over here. On an 05 Prius, you'll find 2 wires and only one of them works. I just soldered 2 wires out from that one single wire. And I think there's a video on how to find that wire. So you find the color code here, and when there's like 2 colors of the same wire. So there's only one that will work. So out of these 2 wires, anything that's giving ground to these wires will activate the factory alarm. So now one of these wires is going to the shock sensor, and to prove that, let me kind of follow. So here's one blue wire. It's going over here, it's going over here, it's going here. This is going to the shock sensor. So the shock sensor, anytime the shock sensor works, it will give a ground signal to this blue wire. And then same as the tilt sensor. When the tilt sensor works, it gives a ground signal to the blue wire. So they like to use the blue wire as the output for ground. Here's the shock sensor. You got 4 wires. You don't use the green one. The green one's like dead. I think it's not running anywhere. There you go. It's not running anywhere. And there's a shock sensor right there. So now you got these 3 wires. Red, this one here, you go to 24-hour red. It means always red. Battery red. 12 volts. This here goes on with the key, which is the orange wire, and this one you tie it to the door trigger. All right. So now tilt sensor. So my lesson learned about the tilt sensor is when you connect this wire directly to the car, just like the shock sensor, somehow it fries it. So basically, I run this blue wire to a relay. And there it goes. It goes to a relay. And there it keeps on going. And it turns into a black wire now. And the black wire runs into the relay. So there. This side of the relay, let me see here. So this relay looks just like this. It looks like this right now. So the black one is 86, which is getting the blue wire from, you put the blue wire into 86, and 85 over here, which is this red one here, that one just gives it 24-hour all the time 12 volts. And then now you got this green wire and that green wire, which is the same as this green wire, or this and that where I'm touching right now. So the top one is 87 and bottom is 30. So give this one 30 arbitrarily. Let's say you give it a ground, and then 87 on the top, that is going to go to the door trigger. That's going to go to this wire here, to the door trigger. So once you have that, then everything should work. And again, if you lift this up, it'll give it a ground signal, and this relay will come on, and it'll connect the ground, and then it'll give a ground to the car. Now, these other loops, if you read the instructions, is basically one of these, you cut it, and it'll delay it from, like, say, 5 seconds to a longer time. The other one you cut is to, instead of like 2 or 3 degrees of tilt, it'll do like 5 degrees. Let's say you got like a really lifted car, and the lifted car sways a lot. Ooh, 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 however it sways. And then so you want it to be less sensitive. You cut one of these wires, and when it sways too much, or let's say you're next to some place and it's cars running by and your car tilts easy for some reason, or the ground is shaky, or like next to train tracks or something. Well, I don't know the situation, but if it's less sensitive, cut one of these wires. And you want it to activate longer, cut one of these other wires. And that's it. That's the whole story. Okay, thanks for watching. There was this one guy, he does this whole video. He doesn't use a relay, and he just taps it into that thing. Oh, one more thing. When you buy that shock sensor, buy it with this pod, because the pod basically allows you to shut down. You shut down, that means the shock sensor won't be activated. And then you turn it on, it's activated. The way I'm hooking it up right now, I'm not sure if this switch would deactivate my my tilt sensor. Maybe I should do that. But anyways, if you don't see the updated video, that means it does work. You know what? Let me just do it. Connect to this video. It's 8 minutes already. So let's go ahead and put the shock sensor onto this homemade lifting thing, because the wire's too short. So there it is. It's horizontal right now, and then I got this thing on. Yeah. Now I'm gonna arm the car, and then when I lift through the window and I lift this thing, hopefully the tilt sensor doesn't work. So we just activate it. We're gonna have wait 5, 6, 7, 8, waiting for the factory alarm to come on. 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. All right. So basically, if you're sitting in the car, I guess we turned off the shock sensor. So if you're moving back and forth, the alarm won't activate. But I guess it really doesn't matter, because you're not really tilting your car. So If it doesn't work, it won't be the end of the world. So here we go. There. So with the tilt sensor, it still works, even though you shut it down. I guess I can wire it in a certain way that it'll stop the power, stop some power to the tilt sensor. All right, thanks for watching.